Welcome, everybody, to the KQ Show, episode 26, Instructional Guide for Your Listening Pleasure. For those new to the show, hi, I'm Kyle. I'm just a regular guy that enjoys making people laugh. And just in case, I do give a few testicles. As a young lad, I had what my parents would call the gift of gab. I love conversations, interesting people, and most of all, just having fun. I'll be chatting with business owners, musicians, Old Navy performance fleeces, and framed pictures of border collies. Episode 26 brings us talking with Merica, a special 4th of July episode. I sit down with Derek Casini, a longtime friend. Dressed in our best patriotic gear, we discuss careers, health, and he dives into how he and his wife have been successful raising a child with autism. We had a chance to have a lot of beers and a lot of fun. Enjoy the show. Welcome, everyone, into the KQ Show, episode 26. My guest today started his career with NBC Sports at 14 years old. He's a father of 3, husband of 1, operations manager at ProSource Wholesale Floor Coverings. He's a diehard Cubs fan and a mustache enthusiast. Mr. Derek Casini.
Hello,
What's going on,
world.
man?
Hello.
Welcome into the KQ Show.
Yes, sir. Glad to be here.
Oh, yeah. So first we got to kick it up. What are we drinking and why?
I'm a very basic bitch. Miller Lights all day long.
Absolutely.
Very simple.
So I'm a Coors Light drinker. I had a case of Bud Light.
What do you got? The old Bud Light?
I
there
do.
now?
So I was like, I'll do it. It is more filling, but I feel like my backup now is Bud Light instead of Miller Light. I don't know why.
And you don't care what it is and all the controversy and bullshit that's
I don't
on.
have time for that type of stuff. No, I think it's funny that Coors Light made a bunch of money. People switching over. They're like, yeah, we'll just we're gonna drink Coors Light now. Like, well,
Yeah.
do some research.
So you're a lager guy.
Not really. Not
Because
often.
this is a Pilsner.
Yeah, and I think that's why I can't drink a lot of Bud Light, because it is a thicker, it's so filling.
Yeah.
Like by the time I'm done drinking it, like I'm just like, you have like a couple of them, you just feel like you just had a loaf of bread or something.
Yeah.
So
I learned that in my older days of just drinking beer. I used to drink, but I grew up on Schlitz,
malt liquor.
Hams.
Oh my God, Hams.
I think my first taste of beer was my father's Pabst Blue Ribbon.
Oh, some PBR
with the old peel top. I don't know if you're
like the Donald Duck orange juice.
Yeah, you peel the top open. Yeah, like old school. I'm gonna be 46 this year, man. I've been around the world a few times now. That's
nuts. I thought that was just strictly on the orange juice and the old Donald Duck.
No, so I've drank everything. It's come down to this. I don't know why. You know why? When my wife, Erin, shout out to my wife. When we started dating and hanging out, I was a Coors Light drinker. And then I was like, okay, yeah. And she drank Miller Light, no big deal, all that stuff. And then things just got more. I got tired of buying 2 types of beer. Yeah. I was like, I'll try it and see what happens. And it's stuck ever since. And now she doesn't drink beer anymore. And I keep it going.
Well, hey,
I drink enough Miller Light for both of us.
Yeah. You don't do hard liquor anymore? Or really?
Not very often. I love a double D on a nice hot day as a backer. I like a good old vodka, Red Bull every once in a while if we're out doing something like that. But I stick to beer because I know I can have enough of it. And I don't have to worry about it.
Yeah. The 40s, they catch up pretty quick, man.
Yes, they do.
Yeah,
in all kinds of ways.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like just the hangovers are done. Like it's like a 2-day, like a full 2-day process. Like if I get here like on a Saturday, like my Sunday's done, like no matter what. And then a half of the Monday, it's that Monday fog,
See, mine's more of a if I stick to just beer, it's a good 3-4 hours the next day, and then I'm like I'm never drinking again. We've always said that. And then mid-afternoon, I'm like, oh yeah, I could have a couple more tonight. I'm good. I'm just tired. I'm groggy. It just gets me too much, That's all.
I feel like it's always the cheap liquor too, but that's my fault for because I'll be like,
I've learned in my years,
shot.
I don't mix. Yeah. If I feel like having something a little bit different, out having a fancy dinner or have a different event, if I want to stick with some vodka sodas or whatever, I'll stick with that and sip on it and not change it up. And wine, I'm an Italian. Frucci, shout out to my buddy Frucci. Red wine is really good too. It's completely different feeling. You get really horny.
Yeah, dude, I'm telling
You get really, I'm more chill
Yeah.
when I'm drinking wine. And I mean, I grew up on wine, big Italian family. 13, I believe, was when you're allowed to have a little bit at dinners, at events and stuff with my grandparents, and all the family got together at my grandparents' house. That was the first time they had it, and you get to, in a little wine, little jelly jars, old school. My grandpa had wine in the basement that he made and did all that stuff, and you got to have a little bit of that at the meals then. Probably, three sips maybe is all you got, but just enough to have that with the meals. And I was like, okay, this is good.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
So you got a pretty big family then?
Extended family, yeah. I do. I think most people probably know now, but I am adopted. I was adopted when I was 3 months old, so I don't remember anything.
Not a lot of it.
No. But it was crazy because my birth mother was actually, to find out way later in life, and I'm rambling, so I'll try to keep it together. My birth mother was best friends with my father. My father now, just my dad. That's the hard part of like telling people and talking about when you're opening about, like, well, okay, which mom, which dad, whatever. So my birth mother was best friends with one of my father's cousins or sort. And that's how they found out that I was even available, because they went up to go see another family member that just had a baby, and I was in the same nursery.
Oh, shit.
So, I was given up for adopted because I found out later in life when I was trying to find my mother and do all that stuff when I was 18, 19, 20 years old. She had me when she was young, 23 years old. You don't think that's real young a lot of times now in age. Kids are having kids. But she and her mind thought that she just wasn't able to take care of a child. So she put me up for adoption, which I thank her for that. It puts me in the situation where I am now. But when that happened, my mother had a stillborn in February of 1977. And that was when it came up to, when they went up to go see family, that is kind of how everything happened, because they wanted to have another child. My mother wanted to have a huge family. She wanted to have 6 kids.
Holy God.
So she had that situation, and that's how they ended up running into me and all that stuff. It gets all so intertwined and everything. So you would never know I was adopted by looking at my family. My father, my mother, and my sister. Like, we looked just alike.
Yeah, honestly, I don't even think I knew that before today.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's kind of crazy. So, and I actually got in connection with a lot of my blood family, cousins and such. Yeah. I do have a half sister.
They all live like kind of around here.
There's a good amount of people that all live around here. We tailgate with them. It's gotten to the point now where it's true family. We had a good amount of them over for a Memorial Day party we had just last month.
Oh yeah.
So it's really good, and you really get to see like where I come from and where the traits that I have, and when I'm with it, like, it's really cool. It's nice to have that like family get even bigger.
Yeah.
So.
Especially to see like you mentioned, kind of like how the traits, like, you're like, wait a minute, that person's sarcasm is a little different. That's kind of cool.
Yep. Looks, everything, just, demeanor. It's pretty cool. And then to see their kids playing with my kids, and like, it just comes full circle, and it's awesome.
I gotcha. Yeah. So, you talked about, because you just brought up today, I didn't even know that. So the NBC Sports thing. So you're 14. How did that stumble across? How'd you end up working for NBC Sports?
Yeah, it's, when you look back at it, I'm like, okay, that was a pretty cool thing to happen. So my uncle, Paul Borowski, which is my mother's brother, she's one of 6. So they come from a very large Polish family.
I got you.
He was always into that stuff. He was actually WGN. Used to do the games and everything at Notre Dame. He had a sports cruise company. So he would actually be the guy to hire and bring in, I need 4 cameramen, I need 3 tape guys, I need utilities, guys on the field just pulling cable. He was doing that with WGN, and when NBC came in and bought the rights to start doing all the games, he asked my mom, because a little bit more higher production, have better budget, doing all kinds of stuff, asked her to do the catering for the crew. And with that said, being a huge Notre Dame fan, excuse me, I wanted to be there. I'm like, what? So he's like, well, why don't you come in with your mom? You just be a gopher.
Mm-hmm.
I got to go. So he's like, you don't get paid, but you get to be out on the field. Whatever is needed, you go do, and you get to come to the stadium every Saturday, every home game. I was like, sweet.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it was full circle. So my grandfather, which is my mother's father, Chuck Borowski, he played baseball, basketball, and football for Notre Dame in the 30s.
Damn.
So it's kind of in my blood.
Mm-hmm.
It goes the way everyone says. It's a love or hate thing with Notre Dame.
Definitely.
Mom is big love. I'm a big love. It's a huge part of my life. My father hates it. All that kind of stuff.
Was
that
he
weird
a different
thing.
squad?
I mean, he went to Purdue.
Okay, I got
you know, but he's just one of. I mean, he's a stubborn Italian man where it isn't. You know,
it's not going to change.
Isn't a fan of it. So
I got you.
But yeah, so so when that came out, I was like, well, this is great. I mean, it's almost kind of like the skies open up and it's like, and I'm like, my grandfather played here.
Yeah.
So it was really cool. So I did that for a couple years, and then randomly and kind of crazy, they were down to people. They needed to bring someone else in, just another kind of gopher utility. I was 16 years old, and my uncle said, why not Derek? He's been here for a couple years. You've seen what he does. I mean, he works hard. He does what he needs to do, blah, blah, blah. And they put me on the payroll at 16 years old. So I got to do every home game from 94 is when I started. Well, no, that was when I started getting paid. So like 92-ish, 91, 92, until I graduated college. I even traveled back for the games. And then after that, I had to get somewhat of an adult job after college, things that didn't work out. And I just lost the availability to be able to do that. So it was a big part of my life there for that. So
I gotcha.
Very cool.
Yeah, for sure.
Very cool to be 16, 17 years old and having pictures on the sidelines and getting paid a pretty well, salary, hourly to do that, to have that kind of money when you're that young. So it even got me to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, you said which Super Bowl?
96. My senior year, we quote unquote, I got the air quotes going on, college visit we went on. We went out to Tempe, Green Bay, it was Steelers, Cowboys.
Wow, Steelers, Cowboys.
Steelers,
okay.
Cowboys. And I got to work, was a utility for the halftime show. Just 20 feet from Diana Ross.
That's awesome.
So I got to watch the whole first half from the end zone, did the halftime show, and then I stood on the sidelines, on the Cowboys sideline, and watched the rest of the game. Met Rob Schneider, I've met all kinds of people, during that kind of stuff. So it's pretty cool to have. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Somebody asked me the other day, they're like, yeah, it was the 90s. And I was like, damn, that was 30 years ago.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. 96 was the Super Bowl. So you're almost, that's almost 30 years, even like fruit. It's been almost 30 years I've been out of high school.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a crazy.
It's coming up really close. Kind of crazy.
Did you ever do any of your, because you went Clay?
I went to Clay.
Okay.
Yep.
Did you ever go like your 20th?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, went to 20. It was weird. I had just had my first son, Luciano, like 4 weeks prior to that Aaron and I had him. So we actually snuck out for about 3-4 hours to do that, whatever. So it was really weird being that old. It was really cool getting back into seeing a lot of old friends and things like that. But it's kind of crazy to think that that's already been that far away. And he's going to be turning 7 this summer, so that just means a couple more years, and it's another 30.
Yeah, it's nuts. I remember for ours, going to Adams, I remember for the 10-year, they were like, yeah, we're all going to, because we all paid money into this thing. I guess it came from whatever we're at. So they're all like, yeah, we're going to meet at, we're going to have a tailgate for Notre Dame home game. All right, awesome, cool. And they had like people flying in for this, everything else. Like, all right, we're going to,
10 years always like one of those big ones that it's the first one and you want to do something big.
Exactly. Everybody's like, yeah, so everybody's going to that one. And so like, a day or two before, they were like, so the tailgate fell through, so we're all just going to meet by pole 8. What? And I was like, people are ripping. Go, hold on, I'm flying in from California for this. What do you mean? Yeah, we're just going to kind of meet up there and just kind of walk around. Just like, hold on. So the money we paid, where did it go?
Yeah, where did it all go?
So and then for the 20th, people ripping it up. about this. But the 20th ended up happening like right around, I think, COVID, the summer after the whole world stopped for COVID.
So everyone's like, let's do this.
Yeah, I don't even think anything would have happened with it. So, but somebody made off with that money. But I thought that was hilarious. Hey, the tailgate fellas, we're gonna meet by the pole and just wander around.
Was that all you guys did then? You didn't have like an actually legitimate?
Oh no, here's the deal. I obviously
reunion somewhere. It was you were just all getting together and just going to have a party together.
You're supposed to. I guess I don't know what if somebody paid to have like a tailgate and then that person just didn't show up or what. But yeah, whatever
That's messed up.
Yeah, I was like, fuck that. So I wouldn't worry about it. That's what it is.
We never did anything fun like that. I don't remember. I think my 10 year was at the College Football Hall of Fame when that was here. We went out and had drinks and did stuff like that, but we actually had a dinner. And then the 20 year was just, we had it at the firefighters hall. Yeah. We just got together on the big room there. I mean, it wasn't anything crazy, but I mean, at that time, I wasn't ready to do anything anyway. I got a newborn at home, my first, and I'm like, I'm checking every 10 minutes. Is he okay? Is he okay? Didn't really get to like fully enjoy it because there was so much other stuff going on. But 30 year, I think will be, if we do have one, I would hope everyone's getting a little bit older, doing a lot of things. It'd be kind of nice to see that.
Damn, that's crazy. Yeah, that's
you feel really old.
I feel like I pretty much see everybody I know that pretty hang out with everybody I went to high school with anyway. But
yeah, just come over to my house and hang out like that. That's just what I want to do.
Yeah, just like
I don't even go out to the bars that much anymore.
Yeah, I don't really either. Plus,
special occasion, I can get like getting together or it's mid afternoon. Let's go sit out on the patio at the back or something. But I'm like, I just poured a huge patio on the back of in my backyard. I'm like, come over and sit at my house. Bring over beer. It's cheaper.
Yeah,
there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I saw it. Nice looking patio, by the way.
Yeah.
So how long did that take?
We've been wanting that for a few years because, of course, having 3 kids and working and wanting all that stuff, priorities happen. And, that was kind of something more for us that we wanted when we moved in. And the deck started to get really bad, started to rot.
Is that what it was? I mean, you had a deck out there.
Yeah, we had a good-sized deck. And then my youngest is a climber. Amongst other things, and it started to get to be a safety thing. Mm-hmm. So I was like, it's time to take it out. So I demolished it, took it all out, and then I had a guy that I went to high school with. His company, they came in and they poured it, and they framed it all up in a day, and then they poured it the next day, and they were done. So it was pretty awesome. It's awesome now. We walk out one level, and it just makes everything feel so much bigger.
Oh yeah.
Yep. Kids love it. That's what it's all about, too.
Yeah, I was about to say, I remember
we have some comfy spots. I built in a built-in fire pit for us, because for my wife and I love just going out there and relaxing after the boys go down. But then when you're out there, too, it's just, it hits the spot for everyone, really. So.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Now, I know you and your wife have been pretty vocal about, you have a child with autism and then another one with ADHD. Yep. So, I mean, just handling that.
And my wife has ADHD.
I mean, what are some of the challenges that go with that? I mean, what's a regular day look like?
What
is there even a regular?
What isn't? There is no regular day. So our youngest, Nico, he was born July 3rd, 2018.
Happy early birthday.
Yeah, yep, coming up on Monday. Everything seemed fine. He was a couple weeks early, no big deal. That happens all the time. When we brought him home, he was starting to not really get the air that he needed to, that we started noticing, where he's kind of starting to turn blue and it's like everything started to get really kind of serious.
Yeah.
So we had to take him in, and it basically came down to he had laryngomalacia. I didn't just sneeze. That's the actual name of it.
Yeah. What the hell happens?
So basically, in layman's terms, he had an extra skin in his airway that, usually it closes when you breathe in and you swallow stuff. He had way too much to where it was too much to try to work. So it was causing him to lose a lot of air and oxygen. So we had to go in and have surgery, and he was only 6 weeks old.
Damn.
They had to bring in special equipment from Indianapolis, from Riley's and or Peyton Manning Hospital and stuff to be able to do it. And when he had the surgery and everything, he had a really hard time coming out. So that a lot of times I thought some of the oxygen might have caused some issues because he wasn't getting everything he needed to coming out of anesthesia. And then, so we ended up having to go into an NG tube. So we had to go put a tube in his nose and feed him by gravity with liquid. for quite a while. I can't even remember with all the trauma in our heads and in our life that everyone. It was quite a while. It was a very hard thing. We never slept. Aaron took the brunt of it as much as possible, but I was always there to try to help. We just did whatever we could.
Yeah.
We had other kids in the house as well, so that was even harder. So then he had to have a lot of, every couple weeks they had to take the tube out so it didn't get infected and things like that. And then every time they had to put it back in, they had to do radiation. They had to have x-rays to check and make sure it got to be where it needed to be. And so it's a combination of maybe some of that, maybe some of this. But also too, she had a bad time during the pregnancy where she was in a lot of pain and things like that. So she took a lot of Tylenol because that's the one thing they said that you could take if you were pregnant. And it's turning out that we're in a suit and all this stuff going on, that Tylenol could be seen as causing a lot of the issues with mothers and children that have autism.
Oh shit, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So we're in a, it's paperwork. It's you put your name out, you get everything, all the info you have to get. So it's one of those cases. Every day is different. You never know. He's nonverbal. Nonverbal global development delay is like the real big synopsis of what it is. So he's going to be 5 on Monday, but he's kind of like a 2.5, 3-year-old without speaking.
So what? So I know nothing about autism at all. So what is so when they?
It can be a little challenging sometimes to explain exactly how it goes. So
because
he makes a lot of noise.
Okay, gotcha.
Right, so he doesn't talk. He's saying some words. He'll say "mama" and so every once in a while he'll get little spurts of some stuff that comes out. But he can't. With a typical 5-year-old, you're talking, you're saying, "Hey," he's listening. If you say no, he'll stop and look like he doesn't understand all that stuff. He is better now with understanding. If you prompt him something with his name, he actually will acknowledge and hearing that. That's a huge step for us.
Yeah.
The very little things in our life that most people think are little that are happening in a what do we always say, a neurotypical child. He's considered a neurodivergent because of the situation. The very small things are huge for us. So it's difficult. It's like another little baby in a sense, but he's running around crazy, climbing over everything, and so you just have to be there with him at all times in most case, which keeps us home more often, so we don't really get to go out and do things and have some adult time or things like that. So that's why a lot of what we do is in our home because it's his safe place. So he gets to, especially this time of year, it's awesome because he gets to go in and out of the house in the backyard. It's all fenced in. We got a play set. We got a climbing dome. We have a trampoline. He loves to jump. Loves the water. My parents have a pool next door. So it's good. It's just it's a lot of work. But it's really hard to explain. It sounds awful trying to talk about this, and it's a lot easier when people kind of see it because you can explain anything you want. You can see it happening in public, and you don't know, and you think this kid's just being an asshole or just being, stubborn and spoiled and blah, blah, blah. It turned us around 100% of understanding. You don't know what is happening in their life and what is going on. We've had that experience a couple times being out with him at aquariums and zoos and things like that. And if he's not comfortable, he can't tell you, hey, he just kind of throws a tantrum or does stuff. And people are like, control your child. And I'm like,
it doesn't work.
You have no idea what you're talking about. So, but he's in school. We call school. He's in therapy. He's in a full-time autism center, Hope Bridge, here in Mishawaka. So he goes full-time Monday through Friday, 9 to 4:30. Damn. And he is, per his therapists, he is killing it. So they're just trying to help him learn some life skills and learning like matching and transitioning from one thing to another without going crazy because he just doesn't do that on a normal basis, just the way his brain works. So it's pretty cool to see that he's doing that. And then he comes home and he's just like, screw you, I'm going to do whatever I want when I get home. Because we try to bridge that gap from school to home. And we're working on it really hard. We're working really well with him. And he's very smart. You just, in the ways that things go about, it's just different. You wouldn't know as a normal person unless you're with him more often. But he knows what he's doing. He's like, I've done this all day, Dad. I just want to come home and do what I want to do. So
because again, like I said, I'm new to all the autism. Now, isn't there like there's certain things that are like that, even nonverbal ones like they'll excel at? Like, is there certain things maybe they've seen that he picks up on really well?
It's a spectrum, right? So it's ASD, so it's autism spectrum, such a disorder. So he's a pretty, I mean, especially being nonverbal, because there's plenty of people out there that are autistic. They're smarter than shit, and they're running companies, they're doing this and that, whatever. I mean, what the movie, The Accountant, he's autistic, Asperger's, all the, I mean, there's different things.
Elon Musk, Asperger's.
Yeah, and I mean, there's so many people out there that have something that they're on the spectrum. There's never really a true definition of what that is and where it has to be. So he, it's just, he's him. Like, it's weird. One of those, once you're in it all the time, you don't really think about it too much. Like, that's just who we are, and that's just what we have to do. But it's just, I kind of forgot where we were going, to be honest.
I didn't know if he picks up, like, like if...
what he's good at.
Yeah, like if there's something that he really...
I could sit here and talk about him all day long, and people are going to be like, oh, this is boring. I don't understand this. He's very good at matching. Whether matching, especially like colors, that's his thing all the time. He's got to have, if he finds a toy that is red, he wants another one that's either the exact same toy that's red, or something else that's red, or even if it will connect to each other. We think his favorite color is yellow. Just kind of happened growing up and doing some stuff. So, because he's always with stuff with yellow, he's got a sippy cup that he has his juice and everything with that he won't drink out of anything else but his yellow cup. But I think matching and like knowing if it's something he should go for or not go for. Like it's just that he's inquisitive enough about that. That's a lot going on in his little head. There's just a lot of things that just aren't completely connecting, I think. But it's amazing to think where he'll be watching, Toy Story on the TV, and he will go to the basement and find either a book or a Woody figurine or something that goes along with that movie, and then brings it up and has it with him while he's watching. Like it's always got to be somewhat connected.
I got you.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool. We're working on some stuff with school and everything, but right now that seems to be like the biggest thing of what he's good at. Balance. Another thing, he'll stand on the back of the couch. That's an inch and a half, and just stand there, and he's good. He stands on my back all the time if I'm on the ground. I mean, he can be sitting on his butt with his 2 feet in front of him and literally just stand right up on anything. Like it's one of those weird things where you're like, I've got that
just
weird
scary
thing that I can do. Some of those weird, and he's got a couple of those. So,
well, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Every day is new. Like every day you just kind of see it, and he does not sleep very well. It is a common thing with children with autism that their schedules are just off. He falls asleep quick, like nothing. Little melatonin always kind of helps too, that we do with him, but it doesn't keep him asleep. So he is up quite often between 2 and 3, 2 and 4, and a lot of times he's up the rest of the morning until he goes, like all that stuff. So it's the biggest thing too with us is like Aaron and I. We have a hard time just because we don't get enough sleep, and we share that. For the longest time we didn't, because I was working and had every day not having it, and she just started getting to be, she was losing her mind because she wasn't sleeping enough and all this other stuff. So of course I'm like, nope, it's time. Like I got to start helping out a little bit more and dealing with a lot more of that, whatever. So we try to share that that challenge with each other as much as we can. So you come together a lot more. You get it was a struggle in the beginning with everything going on. And the weird thing enough is we got stronger. Like that could pull people apart big time.
Yeah, I'd imagine
it's a big challenge, but it brought us together and probably strengthened us more than anyone probably ever knows. So
yeah, she's a badass. I mean, your wife, Erin, she's awesome. And I could see, she's just, I don't see her really failing at anything. I feel like whatever challenge you throw at her, we'll get through it.
Yeah.
Might get beat up by the end of it, but I'll be...
She's the rock of our
awesome.
family, so for sure. Makes me better, makes everyone else better.
Now, you'd mentioned, so am I wrong, or didn't the whole family have like serious medical things, all that happened within, am I wrong, or they all happened?
No, you were. I was wondering if that was how that was.
Yeah, because I remember then you had something, and then Aaron, and then...
So Nico was born.
I'll grab another beer there.
Yeah. Grab it. I'm going to need one too. Yeah. Nico was born. 6 weeks later, he has his surgery. And then, which was the end of August, last week in August. And meanwhile, all that happening, I'm working. My manager at work is pretty much on his way out, not sleeping, stressed over everything in life, not taking care of myself probably the way I should have been because I was worried about everyone else and work. And one night, I was rocking Luciano to sleep in his room, and I had this just very sharp pain go like throughout my whole body. It kind of felt like you got shocked, or like when you hit your funny bone, you have those like
that nerve,
that big nerve thing, but it went from my head all the way down to my toes. And I just remember that I have a very faint memory of what was going on there. So I put Luciano back down in his crib and walked out and said, Aaron, something's wrong. And boom, I passed out. I've fainted, hit the floor face first.
Jesus.
They called the ambulance, called my parents. Thankfully, we live right across the street from my parents, so they were the first one to come over.
Yeah.
Couldn't even. I was so stiff. I couldn't even. Wasn't even able to be flat on a gurney.
Damn.
So I can't imagine the sight of what some of those guys were thinking about.
Yeah.
But, I mean, my arms were like up at an angle. My legs were up. All this stuff. Get to the hospital. Get me in. Like just telling them everything what was going on, and then all of a sudden I had the same feeling again. And no joke, like it's really kind of eerie. I literally had an out-of-body experience. My dad was in the room with me. My mom came over to help Erin. She basically gave her a quick rundown of what needed to happen with Nico so she could come to the hospital to help keep him, fed and all that stuff to figure out. I mean, it was like out of nowhere.
So now, how soon after his surgery did this happen?
So he had his surgery like Tuesday, Wednesday. This happened on Monday night of Labor Day, like the holiday. I was supposed to get up and go to work the next day.
Dang.
So get in there. So this happens again. And no joke, I'm literally just above my head, like the view, looking down at the whole room, seeing my dad jump up and come over to me and see what's going on, blah, blah. And then I snapped out of it again. I said, what the hell was, whatever. My heart stopped.
Oh, shit. That's what it was?
They literally came running in. And so that's actually what actually happened at home as well. Very quickly there, but in the hospital, it was 8 seconds or something that I actually stopped.
Damn.
So then they came in. They scared me. They thought I was going to have a pacemaker. All this stuff, but it really came down to it was stress, lack of sleep, and my body basically was shutting down because it was telling me, hey, I need some attention. Something needs to happen here. So stayed overnight just for, just to keep an eye on me and all that stuff. And then I was out of work for a few weeks because I couldn't even sit in a car while it was moving. Like everything, my body just was messed up. It like hit the reset button or something.
Yeah.
So, good now. I mean, I don't have any issues. Like we checked, I had to wear a monitor for about a month, 2 months, just to make sure what was going on. I just have to listen to my body a little bit more often now. So if I'm overtired or something like the heat, I've never been the same in the heat. I love the heat, still do, but like this mugginess that's been happening lately and everything, I can't do as much. I can't work outside as much or do everything. So I just gotta, maintain what I'm doing and really listen to my body instead of just like, I can push through this. I can push through this. So
they just said, so it wasn't like they didn't say like a stroke or anything. It was just, they just said it was like, you're exhausted.
It paused, it kind of stopped, but it wasn't a heart attack because the terms they say is like your muscles like attacking it and that's why it's stopping. It wasn't any of that. It was just because I was so dehydrated and stressed and all that stuff that it just paused for a while and then kicked back on.
Now, am I wrong, or did Aaron not have something happen like not right after, but
no?
soon?
And then we found out Aaron had a brain tumor.
Golly.
Which we find out isn't as serious. I mean, it's a tumor. Yes, it is exactly what the name of it is. But the doctors say they find those more often when they're looking for something else.
Okay.
So it's very small. She has to get checked on like every couple years now just to make sure it doesn't grow or anything. It doesn't affect her or any way, things like that. But it was found during something like that.
Oh, so she didn't have any issue, and then
No.
Okay, so
she went in for something, headaches. I think maybe we were having an issue, not sleeping. Like it kind of was a direct reflection of what our life was happening. What was going on. So we went in, and you got to be an advocate for yourself as much as you can. I don't care what people say. Your regular doctor says, no, you're fine. You do this. Okay, something's going on. I feel it. Like I need to have it done. So then we had to go get an MRI, like do all this stuff, and that's how they found it, just because of that situation. So it was a scare at first, just because you hear the word, and all that stuff, especially in the head and all that. But it actually wasn't too bad. So
it's not causing any.
Nope.
Okay.
No, she's healthy. She's good to go. Other than having to deal with me and every day and all the kids,
I think she's
in a house full of boys, and she has an interesting day every day with us.
Yeah. Is she does painting on the side? Am I right?
Yes.
So does she have like an LLC now? Am I right? Or
yeah. So it's not. So her mother and daughter, mother and her sister, have a business and had a business for quite some time. Mm-hmm. Her mom does more of apartment complex painting and stuff like that, lower income apartments. So it's not as often. Her sister's like, she's busy. We just saw her. She's busy till September. Like she does a lot of the other, like some residential stuff and things like that. It's all word of mouth. I mean, literally, that's all it is now with them. Aaron, just with the schedule that we have, because with Nico and everything going on, we had a lot of doctor's appointments before he was in school. I mean, it's a full-time job. You have a child that has special needs. Thing you have to adjust and have to do what you need to do. So she can't have a full 8 to 5 Monday through Friday kind of job. So this was the best situation for her, for us to get a little extra income, was a couple times a month, maybe depending on how busy, that she goes and just paints, 3-4 hours a day, maybe a little longer, depending on how big the apartment and stuff is. Because now that Nico's in, school, we call it school, full time, it frees some things up every once in a while, especially during the school year when she's completely home alone now. Yeah. That she has more time to be able to do stuff like that. So, yep.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, early congrats. You got a wedding anniversary coming up, right?
We do, next Friday, 6 years.
6 years.
11 years together. We were just talking about this last night. I'm like, can you believe it's going to be 6 years? She goes, yeah, but that's only married.
Yeah.
It's been 11 years. Yeah. And I wasn't looking for it at all, man. I was done with relationships and everything after that, and we just
just disappeared. You guys collided. It was just done.
It was
happened
done
overnight.
Yep.
That's kind of crazy.
That makes me a better person, man. I hate the things that you go through, because it was not fun times, all that stuff. But you know what? I would not be who I am for her, for our children, and even for myself if I didn't go through that. Because I really wish we could have met even earlier and had all that stuff. But there's shit happens for a reason, and that's the easiest, cliche people always say. But I'm a big believer in that. So.
Well, hell yeah! I mean, especially that because you get asked me, and everybody does. So it's not just you. Before they, whenever I'm like, hey man, you're invited to be on the show. Like, well, what am I going to be on for? I have a boring life. I'm not into. Everybody says that, but I'm like, man, just like just to have your story, like what you guys have gone through, and just 6 months.
We were just talking about that for a while there. For a couple of years, it was like people were like, "What the hell is going on with you guys?" Like we almost had like a pass to the emergency room, or everyone knew, like they didn't have to give out a rush. Go to the Casinis, and the ambulances knew where.
Just
to go.
An ambulance with the hazards on right out front.
They knew where to go with everything. So, I mean, I was worried about that, but I was like, I mean, to some people, I might think it's. I, in a sense, think it's a little boring because we don't get to go out and do anything. There's enough going on though in our life, underneath our own roof or within our own little circle, that I guess it's it's not as boring as people think, or as I think sometimes.
Well, you're not missing much. Backer updated their computer system, so they're struggling to ring people up, so drinks take a little bit longer. That's
just always gonna have a part of my life. I listened to Frucci and his that the other night, which was hilarious. But and I talked to a lot of friends or people that don't know that situation, that aren't Backer fans, and I'm like, you guys have no idea. Like that was family. Yeah. I mean, that's a lot of the people that I have in my life that I call my friends or the good people, or in his words, like they are good human beings.
Yep.
Are people I met through the linebacker. That's how we met.
Mm-hmm. That's how. I mean, it's crazy to think. Like I look at our circle, our crew. Like even the outskirts, how many people we, are kind of, constantly in touch. And it really all came to the backer. Because the backer's such a weird anomaly because you could go there on a Saturday at 10 p.m. a home game, and it is so busy. You can't see, like you can't get in. It's just crazy busy. There's people everywhere. It's so busy. It's packed, everything else. And you go there Sunday to pick up your debit card you, of course, left there. And it is, you look around, you're like, this is where I was at? Like, it just looks like a regular kind of hole-in-the-wall bar. There's nothing real fancy or anything about it.
Yeah, you'd never know, man.
It's so bananas. Like, you go there, because we showed this one dude from out of town. We showed, like, at the time, it was either the third or the fifth biggest party bar, okay, in the country, and because Notre Dame, I think it was back when they were doing real well and everything else, and he's like, man, I've been to that bar, like he went on like a random day or whatever, real slow. So, we'll go out there home game. During the home game, and it was a whole parking lot full of just RVs, everybody everywhere. He's like, holy shit, and it was just so busy. It's such a night and day, and it's just crazy.
You drive by that during the week. And you're like, yeah, okay, that's a shitty looking place. Yeah. Like, why would someone want to go hang out there? You got cars in there, construction guys are there getting off early and doing their thing. And then all of a sudden you go by on a Friday, Saturday night, specifically during the fall, you're like, holy shit.
Yeah, it's nuts.
I can't believe I used to love going there when it was busy. Like, you always had a good time, but now I'm just like, I don't even want to mess with it.
Well, also, we had, I was talking to Frucci about this too. Even talking with Kim about this. Like, once we knew the bartenders, because they hate Notre Dame kids. Well, they don't hate them, but like they know they're not going to tip well. They're probably going to here's your credit card, cash me out. Yeah. So like they would just be like, oh, cool. They see you coming, just.
Oh, you walked through the door and they were already getting your drink.
Yep.
And then you got people like going around looking at you like, who the hell are you? And I'm like, just one of the guys. One of the guys.
Don't worry about it. Yeah. That's where you always caught me doing the ninja out. You son of a bitch. First off, so our crew got to the point where we're so big, you can't say bye at the back.
It would take.
And you have to take
half hour or more, and then you get pulled into something else because someone comes over and is like, "Well, here, I got you a drink."
Yes,
like, I was trying to leave.
And then it's I'm like, no, like I'm right, I'm okay.
And then you're shit-faced.
Yeah, I'm okay to leave now. Yeah, but I don't want to hang out for another half hour and have 5 more shots brought to. I remember the one time I was standing right by the trash can, and I don't know how the fuck you spotted this, but I'm standing by the trash can. I'm looking around, nobody's looking. I have my drink right on top of the trash can. I dropped that drink before it hit the bottom of the trash can. You grab my arm, you go, nope. I go, damn it.
Yep.
You'd always catch me sneaking out. You're the only one.
I'm just that guy, though, that I'm always looking out for everyone, and I'm always wanting to, like, we're having a good time. Like, don't go. Like, let's have a good time. Try to get as much out of it. And then I sharked you one time, too.
Dude, you sharked me, and your thumb went between my testicles.
No, guys. Yes. Not like that.
It went like, I was like, dude, at first I didn't know what the hell was happening. It didn't feel like a shark. It felt like somebody literally... It was the feeling I was not ready to be standing up as a regular human being and feel my nuts separating and something going between them and my sack. I'm like, I was like, either somebody's touching me or I'm dying.
I was drunk. I was having a good time. Everyone knows who I am. I come around, I slap everyone's butt, right? I slap your ass. It's hello, goodbye, whatever. Or just for the fun of it, let's see how hard I can hit your ass. I don't know what it was that day. I was like, I got to get Kyle with something a little different today. I didn't realize it was going to be as good and as memorable as it was. But
right between, I was like, it was I was like, something is wrong.
Yeah.
I was like, something's happening.
Let's say this, I have never done that again. I'm sticking to just slapping the ass.
I got Kyle's nuts all over my thumbnail. I don't like that.
I don't have relationships that close with most men that would be okay, and we would still be able to hang out after doing something like that.
You molested my testicles. I'd like to report this to Backer.
A lot of good meetings of just people coming in, and that's where you go to hang out at, like that those are just the good memories of doing that. So
there's more stories that I forgot than I remember.
That's probably my case too. I'm sure there's some that that are in there that I either forgot or my brain saying, don't talk about it. Because
man, I feel bad because like big fan of alcohol. I would just get so hammered when I was younger back. Like I would meet people, right? And I don't remember it. So like I would be having like long conversations and joking and clowning with the regulars at Backer, and the next day I'd go and I just wouldn't talk to them because I didn't even know that I had a very long conversation. So I met so many people that I was just like, dude, you were hilarious last night, man. You had us clowning. I was like, where?
Where was I?
Yeah. When was this? Some dude came up to me at B100 birthday bash. It was always on a Sunday. Love the B100 birthday bash.
Oh, people watching.
Dude, we always went out. Right, Saturday night, and just got hammered. We'd show up next day. So I'm in line just waiting for my $13 beer. And this dude taps me on the shoulder and never met this human at this time before.
Excuse me?
I know I never met this person because he was what they call a little person. Okay. And I thought maybe somebody's messing with me or something. You know, he's all of my buddies out there. And he's like, man, you had me cracking up last night. And I'm going, ooh. Right? That's a lot to take home. I'm probably hungover. I'm standing there talking.
Especially on you. I can even
Dude,
imagine
I
what
turned
your head
around
was
and
doing.
there was no one there first. So then I was like, oh my God. So I was like, oh, what did I do last night that I don't remember entertaining a little person for hours? I was so nervous.
I can only imagine what was going through your head.
Dude, and then luckily somebody else was with me last night walks up and goes, oh, hey, it's Guy, remember? I go, no, I don't remember, man. And he's sitting there telling me, I was telling him stories. I was outside of the front of somebody's house just putting on like a comedy show, apparently. I don't even remember doing it. We went up somewhere.
Yeah.
I don't ever know what happens. Once I leave the back, or usually it should just be to go home.
Yeah.
But it's those...
It's a little side... I'm going to make a stop on the way home.
It's like those side missions, you know? Well, maybe
Take the
I will.
scenic route home and just see where you can get yourself into trouble.
That's like the one time, actually, I was walking to somebody's car, something, and I stopped by... I won't say the house because I don't know if they know I broke it or not. But anyway, they'll probably know. But anyway, there was a house that we knew people had lived at on the way home from Merica, and I was just trying to get in because I was apparently hammered as hell and literally trying to get in, which means breaking and entering is what I was basically doing. I eventually pulled their garage door up.
Oh, shit.
And I heard it kind of like make a noise. Like I stripped the damn motor and I went in and then it slammed down behind me. I was like, okay, cool. I'm in the garage. Go in the house. They woke me up on one of their like roommates' beds who was out of town. And they go, Kyle, what are you doing? I go, what do you mean? He goes, look, I got up. There was snacks from the kitchen, a trail of just, I think I had like Triscuits or something. Very crunchy, very whole, like just a whole hallway full. They followed the Triscuits or like, I don't know, chicken and biscuits, some type of cracker, all the way from the fridge.
Because you probably were just crunching and trying to shove them in your mouth.
I broke into somebody's house and got in their fridge and then went and slept.
Their pantry and whatever they had.
Like, what are you doing? Yeah, it was always the worst when you the side missions after you left.
Bad.
Yeah, that happened.
Now, do you think you would have really done that or tried to go to somewhere else if they didn't have any good snacks?
I probably would have just fell asleep in the kitchen. Like they probably would have woke me up in the kitchen instead.
That's bad.
I had no idea where it was. Those days, man, like where it's crazy. Like I kind of wish, but I'm glad I don't. Had like a fucking GoPro. Like for when, because you always know when like you're browning out. It's like, all right, I'm starting to like I know I can successfully get to where I need to be now, but one more drink past this and then I'm just clocked out.
Yeah, you're done.
But I'm still there, doing God knows what and just causing scenes.
Oh yeah.
I remember one time I left the backer. We came to, it was me and Hector. Maddie had given us like 2 6-packs of 24 ounces to go.
Maddie.
So we end up in Michigan. And I kind of came to sitting on a curb drinking these 24-ounce beers. Like, because you're browning in and out, I'm like, where are we at? What are we doing? He's like, dude, we're supposed to be in Niles, but we're in Buchanan. I'm like, why? And what's going on? Are we
sitting on the curb at a strip joint going, what am I doing?
It was in like a cul-de-sac of some neighborhood in Buchanan. I'm like, what are we doing here though? Like, how did we get here? Like, I'm just kind of coming to holding a beer on a curb. Oh,
lucky to be alive and getting to where you got.
Dude,
but now you got the stories.
Oh, so many times coming back here. I mean, I had almost the whole bar come back here. We had freestyle battles on the front porch.
Yeah.
With ghost hunting in the basement. You bring a bunch of drunk people home. Also after, you throw in Doc Pierce's.
Oh, yeah.
Those Doc's $5 Long Islands.
I heard a lot about that. I've heard a lot of stories about that stuff, but I've never partook in any of that.
You should. The last time we were at Doc's, cause we used to call them Succession. Like they were just like a glass of success.
Yeah, I remember hearing all the stories.
Dude, you get one and you're on that perfect buzz, like a 6-pack buzz, but you're not real full, you know? And you're feeling great. And that second one, you're then, like we used to call it, Wizzo has a little step process when he would drink them.
Yep.
1, right into buzz mode where you're just like kind of laughing, joking. Drink 2, he'd be into materials. He would just be touched. Man, what is that shirt made of? He would just be grabbing things like, what is that? What is that? Silk? What is that? Cotton? Just, I don't know. Very touchy.
Yeah.
And then, by his third, he ended up on his hands and knees on Jameson's hood, spitting on his windshield. This is just right after we left the docks. They literally walked out, and he just...
And that's just what he jumped.
So there's phases. There's, your buzz.
And they allowed you back.
No, well, no.
No.
I think we probably would now, but our last night there, it was probably I saw a video of it. Like, I'm always loud, but when I'm hammered, the loudest, usually asked to leave several times everywhere I'm at. We had every loud person at Doc's. It's Will's birthday, and this is probably 7 years ago at this point. At least 7 years. Like, it's been that long since I've been back into that place.
Right.
Because we were so loud. We had probably 10 to 15 of us. Like, there was tables yelling at us to be quiet.
People,
and somebody
and that's who I am now. Like, you hear that, and I'm like, that's how old you're feeling when I'm going, would you just shut up? But I'm like, they're having a good... And you think back, and you're like, I kind of did that shit, too.
Yeah, but the people were yelling back, and then somebody... I don't know, something else happened where... I think somebody tried to light a cupcake, light a candle on a cupcake, or lighting someone on fire, and eventually, we were just...
You're like, no, it's time to go.
We were so... And then somebody kept... And then we all started singing Happy Birthday, but we didn't really sing the song. We were just screaming Happy Birthday, and then we just kept clapping, for too long after it was over, and it was way too much. But I would like to get everybody together to go back there. Because it's literally been at least... Is that
place still open?
Yeah, I think new management came in.
That's what tells you we never get out.
It's an awesome place though. It's pretty good. It's locals. It was pretty cool to pop in there.
No, it's a kind of a mainstay in Mishawaka.
Yeah,
back in the day, that's the place you went for proms and midwinters and some kind of big events for dinner. So,
No, so we were just talking about leasing in cars. So I had a little fun story with so I went to the Audi dealership and I walk up because I wanted to get two-door Audis. They have a lot of two-door Audis. They're all-wheel. I just want some all-wheel drive. I live in Indiana. So I go in there and I'm like, hey, here's my buddy had referred me there to talk to the manager. So I was like, hey, I'm here to talk to Mike or whatever. He's like, yeah, go take. So the salesman walks up. I'm like, yeah, I'm here to talk to Mike. I was referred here by somebody. He's like, oh, well, he's tied up right now. Can I help you? I'm like, all right, cool. I really kind of want to talk to the manager, but I was like, I saw him just standing there.
Because you know what you're gonna do. With your background, you can talk. You've been in sales.
Oh hell yeah!
I can't stand walking in a dealership because it's I just don't have the patience, and I don't have the gift of gab, all that stuff to really get into it like that. But I'm sure you.
So I tell the guy first off, if you're in sales, you ask questions.
Yep.
And you qualify the customer into the product that they need.
Mm-hmm.
So I ain't even. After 2 sentences, this cat was like, all right, I'll just tell you exactly what I'm looking for. There's 3 main things I'm looking for. Here's my budget.
Yep.
Let's say, hey, $400 a month. Okay. That's what I want. I need something all-wheel drive, and I need something with a little bit of pep. And a coupe. If it wasn't a coupe, I wasn't that mad. That was, if it was, whatever. So, if those meet...
2 of the 3, those are your 2 big ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So... He's like, oh, I got the perfect car for it. I'm like, all right, cool. So he pulls around a brand new Audi. It is a 4-door, but I was like, okay, whatever. Or no, it was a coupe. This one was a coupe. It was a 4-cylinder, 2-wheel drive coupe for $1,200 a month. And I go.
So he heard every word you said.
I was like, I was trying to be polite. So I was like, my man, look, this is what I do for a living. This is what I'm looking for. I go, so what is this? I go, so. He didn't tell me the price right away. I'm looking at the price tag. I go, so what's this a month? He's like, about $1,200. I go, so that's 3 times my budget. Okay. So at least, is this an all-wheel drive? He's like, well, not this model. I go, okay. So what about what I just said to you made you bring this around? So no, I'm good, man. He's like, oh, my bad. I got you. You know what? Give me a sec. Let me see what else I got. So again.
I would have walked out.
I was trying to be nice. You never know. Maybe.
That's the part, because I'm like, you didn't even listen to me, man.
So I'm thinking, okay, maybe he didn't listen, whatever. Maybe he's having a bad day, whatever. So I'll go. So again, coupe, fast, all-wheel drive, $400 a month. That's kind of what I'm looking at, okay? This dude, I'm standing out there for 5 minutes. Give me a sec. I got you. He pulls around the car that's going to be perfect for me, okay? So to recoup, fast, coupe, all-wheel drive, price point. He pulls around a Volkswagen Passat. Okay. 4 doors, 2-wheel drive.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
70 to 80 horsepower, and $600 a month. I was like, this met no criteria. I'm like, what are we doing here? I'm like, I was trying to be, I was like, maybe it's his first day. Maybe he doesn't know. I don't even know. I'm like, okay, whatever. I'm like, hey, man, look, I appreciate your time, man. I'm going to take off. I was sitting there. I was like, you know what? Maybe I should work here because there is nobody here.
Yeah.
I'm not even allowed to see the manager who's not
best
busy.
Salesperson. Yeah, for sure.
All right, so
how are we feeling?
We're gonna do a little fun portion here. So I'm gonna hit you with the question game. Ooh, okay. Look, now this question, it's been a debate question. You've probably been a part of the debate. It's been a debate question. Our friend group for years.
Yeah.
Are you you standing?
Oh, here it is.
You leaning? You folding or crumpling? Now, when I say stand, I want to clarify. I say stand. People have asked me, you stand up to wipe your ass? No. I mean, are you lifting both cheeks off of the seat?
Right.
Like I call it like a hover.
Yep.
Okay, the hover or the lean one way.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's the crump where people, like an animal, just grab random amounts of toilet paper.
Yep.
And
nope. I hear you.
So that's what I mean when I say that.
Man, you want to get into this? Because this is a different subject and really weird for some of the audience here, but I have some stomach issues, right? I do what I can to deal with it, but I also, I'm going to live my life the way I want, right? I'm going to eat what I want. I'm going to drink what I want. It's going to cause me some issues. It's fine. I got to deal with that. Well, along with dealing with that is, if you're out in a bar, let's say just our favorite, the backer, you got to go. No one's going to go in there, right?
Well,
if I'm the guy now, if you got to go, you got to go, right? I don't care. I'll figure it out.
Yeah, me too. I'm
got to figure it out.
I'm a public pooper.
Oh yeah.
As long as there's a door, I will not poop without a door.
No. So I would have to say to this, I'm a leaner, but I'm also very OCD or particular. I don't just, undo a bunch of toilet paper and just a big bunch and just it's folded nicely,
You're
whatever. I'm a folder.
Folding
I'm a lean fold.
You're a leaning folder.
Yep, leaning folder.
Well, I'll allow that because you're also a smaller
really
dude
weird.
too. You're not,
Yeah, no, I'm not huge. I'm 6'2", 200 pounds.
Yeah,
and that's basically all from the beer lately.
Yeah, well, I feel like sometimes you get because you ever get on a toilet that's just wobbling.
Oh yeah,
and you're like, God damn! You see the hugest people are leaners. I'm like, you gotta feel. If you're because I'm a bigger dude too, So, I mean, I was like, if I'm leaning one way, if I feel that toilet leaning, I don't know. I don't know if maybe if I learned how to wipe that way, where I've always been
how do you? Is it one of those weird memories where you never really learned how to do it?
Like, when was I that I just stood up and
so you're leaner or stander?
No, just a little hover.
You're hover.
Yeah, because again, I was a fat kid, short and fat, so. I think
it took more to get all the way. You couldn't really get around. Leaning didn't give you a whole lot of space.
You lean too far. Yeah.
And then you could fall off if you lean too far.
Break a toilet. No, yeah. So it was always a standing, type of situation. Again, not standing straight up. How do you wipe if you're? I'm not standing straight up. The hover off the toilet. Because I also do the hover at dirty, dirty toilets. Like, you ever look at a toilet seat and you're like, "There's nothing that can clean this. I just hover poop." It's a very difficult thing.
Oh no, or that, or you just build a barrier on it if you really gotta just sit.
Yeah, I mean, but looking at it, I'm like, oh, so I got to the first barrier I have to do is it's wet. So now I gotta dry this piss off. Then I gotta put a layer on there. Then I'm like, I don't even think this toilet's gonna be able to flush this layer.
You gotta go, man.
I remember there was Schoolcraft, Michigan at a Burger King.
Oh Jesus!
I was on the way back from I think it was a Best Buy trip, like a meeting out of town. I come back and I was like, oh, I had to shit so. The energy drink, like poop, like where you pound energy drink, driving all of a sudden that thing hits you like ton of bricks. So I pull in this dude. I went into the one toilet they had there, and I promise you, there was so much shit in there. And people had been peeing on it that it looked like an old school catcher's mitt. That just like the big leather in the middle where just the baseball has been hitting for 40 years.
Folks.
Dude, and I go, oh my God, I can't. Am I going to poop on top of this? I don't know what to do. And I hovered.
Worse than a Joy John.
There was no flushing because you couldn't even see the hole. Like this thing, whatever had came out in here. I don't know what type of animal did this. But I've never seen that much poop. It'd been weeks. Just been stacking up. People's been peeing it down and turned into a petrified. That was my my funnest poop story.
So Joy John, if you gotta go, do you go there?
Man, a lot of times, man, if I'm somewhere, that I know ahead of time, knowing Joy John's are going to be my only option. I'm not going to eat food. I'm not going to eat. Yeah, I'm not going to set myself up for. I will tell you, me and Hunter have probably about the best poop story. So this is liquor shit. It's different than poop. You're spraying. So it doesn't matter if you're standing, leaning, whatever.
Where are we going?
It's like, you just turn on like a sprinkler at your ass. It's like that liquor shit.
Getting real.
So we're both at Wilson
Park?
Wilson Park doing some disc golfing. We make it through barely made it through the front nine. I'm like, I have to shit so bad. Hunter's like, dude, me too. At the time, these bathrooms were something else. Okay. It looked like a very long.
Was it indoor plumbing?
Yeah, but here's the setup. The only person in the world that did not know what a toilet is was hired to design this setup. So it was like troughs. It was like a hole. It was a toilet, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the wall was here. So like your knee, basically from like your crotch all the way out was exposed out into the hallway that there was. The doors were a shower curtain, but again, you're far
out of you're out of that area, right?
So and then guess what? There's two of them. So me and Hunter are looking at each. He's right next to me. We're just thigh on thigh, listen to each other, just squirt shit all over the place. We were just looking right at each other. I'd never pooped eye to eye with another buddy. Close. I'm talking like, thank God I can't smell it, but the sounds, because we both had to go. Like, there's no stopping it. Looking at another buddy as he's spraying out the back of his ass. Everybody, when we got out, we're like, all we heard you guys in there was just like, they heard us laughing so hard from like the 10th tee. It's how far, like, we couldn't even explain it. I go, you have to go in there and look at that setup. Like, somebody goes, you know what a bathroom is? I probably figured out. All right, we need to design that. Like, it was just the worst. I was like, what is this curtain? Like, we were dying laughing because we looked at it first. We had a shit spell. Like, what do we do here?
This is what we have to do.
Do we climb in this room and stand up so people can't see us? Or what do you do? Like, it was, oh, shit.
It's one of those where you, like, squat standing on top of the toilet.
That's pretty much was the option. I was like, all right, what am I standing up here, hovering?
Which they say is the best position to be in.
Well, don't they say with the squatty potty?
Yeah.
I get leg cramps too bad. I tried to not even half-ass. I made my own little squatty. I was like, oh, let's see if this thing's worth getting on Amazon or whatever. I caught a leg cramp when I was pooping. I was like, I'm done. I'm not doing this now.
Make it even weirder here now, because I'm gonna go with this right now. When you gotta go, is it you gotta go take a shit, whatever? Is it quick, or are you in there for reading a book, catching up TikTok, thinking about subjects for your next podcast? What?
Well, single, I'm in and out. If you're in a relationship, I feel like there's the dad poop or the boyfriend poop, husband poop. Mm-hmm. Like, we just want to get away from everybody. Mm-hmm. I remember I'd be like, babe, just don't come near when I'm pooping. Mm-hmm. Why? Because it's the only room I don't want to be. I want to be away from you for a long. I want to be able to look at whatever I want on my phone for the next half hour.
Yeah.
And I don't want you to want to see it, want me to send it to you. I don't want that. So just leave me alone for like a half hour. Yeah. So you poop too long. I'm like, no, I just don't want to be necessarily around you for like a half hour. Yeah. So, but it all depends. I mean, if I'm trying to waste some time, maybe, but usually I wait till right at the end. Yeah. But I'm pretty much just
I ask that because I'm amazed with the differences I see in my household with the other boys.
Mm-hmm.
I got one that literally waits to the very last second, and it's like as soon as his cheeks hit the seat, he's like, "I'm done," and I'm like, "Good Lord!" And then I got another one that just will be in there for a half hour. I'm like, "Are you doing anything?"
I mean, I'm back.
Yeah, I'm going. I'm like, "You sure?" Just one of those weird things that you think about, of course, because you brought it up. It's just like, okay, all right, I get it. Me, just depends on what happens.
Yeah. I mean, again, don't get me wrong. If I'm in there, and then when I was younger, I used to just go in there because my mom had Home and Garden magazine. No. It was good housekeeping. But no, I'd go in there. I'd play Tetris, right? And we had a Game Boy in there.
I'd say I had a bunch of friends.
This is before you had a phone.
Where the Game Boy always
else.
was.
Yeah.
It's always on the back of the toilet.
I got to fucking level 9 in Tetris, which maybe it's 9 or 90, whatever it was. When you're in the 9s, that's how far it was. It must have been 90. And I was in it for so fucking long. I finally got to. I didn't beat the game ever, but I got to level 9 where it's like, I went and stood up.
And you had dead legs.
Dead. Yep. I call it the old moon boots. You remember moon boots when you were a kid?
Yeah.
I woke up the other this big fucking puffy ass boots. Then I stood up. I felt like I was walking those, but then I fell right over. Mom's like, "You spent way too much damn time in there, shit." I was like, I guess I deserve that one because I was so happy. Yay! Oh god. Just fell right out.
Oh yeah.
I don't even think I probably already wiped and was flushed. But
yeah. I know because I got people like my boys. They won't go at school. They'll wait to get. I'm like, why not?
Yeah, I barely pooped at school.
I'm like, dude, I'm just that guy. Like, you gotta go, you gotta go.
Yeah. I got a pretty decent, like I poop in the morning. And then, I mean, again, depends on, like, what, like, because I'm now, we're in our 40s, so now, like, I know that, like, I have to take the Monday after Super Bowl off.
You and among everyone else that wants to do it, they want to have the Monday as a national holiday.
It's just because I can't, most jobs, I can't be in the bathroom thinking I'm about to cheese poop. But it's not. It's just like a 6-pound block of cheese, just things trying to creep around the outside. So, like, you're just in there and just, like, I'm just wiping my ass for no reason. Like, I felt like I'm pooping a little bit.
Well, just to kind of move it along and be like, well, hey, what if this kind of comes around? Like, are you going to help me out
just
here
being there
or what?
shaking, trying to break loose this big ball of cheese.
Yeah.
Dude, I spend that whole Monday just eating broccoli and fiber. And then and then Tuesday, it's my whole body evacuates. But I do miss cheese, man. That's one thing getting older. Lactose intolerant.
Yeah, no, forget about that. That sucks.
Dude, so Jameson, when he lived here, he could eat, like, he was the opposite. Like, he could eat he used to buy these gourmet balls of cheese. Like, if you go to, like, any Martin's, whatever else, they have, like, that section.
Yeah. Yep.
He would just sit there. He'd lay on the couch,
grab like an apple and just take a bite out of it?
No, he would have, like, he'd also have his little cheese spreader, like this little weird, stylish knife, and he would just sit there and put on chips or, like, on a cracker, or just eat the cheese ball. And he would just have to shit immediately. I'm like, dude, you're the luckiest dude in the world, dude. A couple months ago, he goes, it happened. Like, what do you mean? He goes, I can't.
He crossed.
We cried for about a half hour. We looked up different nacho cheese gifts and things online. This dude, when he lived here, we went to Gordon's food service, and I was walking because we were gonna buy bulk shit. We had like a little flavor wave thing. You just throw frozen food in it, we just cook it.
It's like the adolescent version of Costco now.
Yes,
because you buy things in bulk at Gordon, but now you're like, oh, I'm an adult. I have adult money now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go spend all that at Costco now. Yeah.
This dude goes, hey man, we barely
unnecessary.
He's like, we barely ever use the sink to wash dishes. Check this out. He had a cheese warmer, a nacho cheese warmer that you put in your sink. You just fill up the sink with, like, hot water or whatever. Like if you're having people over or whatever.
Yeah.
And it just keeps the cheese warm or something, like hot water. Didn't seem very proficient or whatever. He's like, yeah, dude, look, we pop this in the sink, and then we'll just have warm cheese all the time. I'm like, we're gonna die. We're gonna die in this house. We just got done buying like an 8-pound bag of French fries. And we're just gonna live off of French fries, nacho cheese, and Coors Light, or at the time, Natty Light.
And never wash dishes. Never get anything out.
Paper plates.
Not going to be able to use the sink.
Because you're dipping right into the cheese. You don't need a plate.
Nope.
I'm like, dude, I'm not going to come to the point where I'm sad enough in life to where I'm eating dinner over the sink in my nacho cheese trays.
Oh, man.
That was a loud swallow. Everybody always says when I have mixed drinks, they go, all we hear is your clinking of the drinks back there.
I've been trying to stay very quiet and not clinking too much with my drinks here.
Oh, I'm a clinker when I have the mixed drinks going. But then I, start slurring and things get out of control.
Yeah.
All right. What's on your bucket list and what have you crossed off?
Skydiving.
You've crossed that
off? I did that. I did that in college.
Where at?
Anderson, Indiana. I went to Ball State in Muncie. Good old Funcy, Indiana. Did it with a big group of friends back in the day.
Like all attached together the same parachute?
Yeah, tandem. Yeah, it was all tandem. Well, no, we weren't all attached. We weren't one of those guys where we're making our own little geometric shapes in the sky and we're holding on.
Look, we're making a rhombus.
Smoke coming out of our ankles and no. This was literally just tandem jumping and it was pretty awesome. Where you were literally taking the class the hour before, right, to get certified and make sure you're good. You're on the ground. On those little, like, old school, like, wheelie things you used to have in elementary school that you'd sit on that had 4 wheels and you scoot around, but you're on it belly down.
Oh, is that how they're having you practice?
To have your arms and your legs up off. And, yeah, that was very cool. You think back on it, I'm like, oh, I would love to do it even more, but life changes. Like, you never know what's going to happen.
So what does it take? Because what does it take to go by yourself? Like, you obviously have to go tandem at least. Mm-hmm. I've seen him a few times, but...
they have one. You can go by yourself, from my understanding. It's been obviously forever, so I don't know how things change, but I can't imagine safety things would change this. But from what I remember, you could do it by yourself, but they had it attached, like If you're in the airborne, you jump out and it automatically pulls it no matter what.
Oh, okay.
So if you wanted to go by yourself, but you're not getting any free fall when you're doing that, right?
Yeah.
Like when you're free falling, holy shit. Like it's
the scariest thing.
It's fucking nuts. Yeah. And the biggest thing is just like you keep your eyes up and look. Don't just look down because that's your first thing you're thinking of. You're like, holy shit, I'm falling. That's how you get the view of everything that's going on because you can see, 360. They spin you and be able to see everything. But I'll tell you what, man, you pull that cord. If you were not set up correctly with your junk and all that, I was a little off on mine, and man, it was a noose.
You got moose knuckle?
Oh, it was tough. It's one of those where it came right up into your throat. So that high went to a very big bit of a situation there, but it was awesome. And then you got to watch people you free fall for, I think we were at 14,000 feet, and you jump and you're good to go. Everything went awesome, and it goes by fast. I mean, it just happens so fast. You're 120 miles an hour. You're falling through the sky. Perfectly good plane. What should we do? Let's jump out. Okay. And just hope the chute opens. You're young. I'm like, I don't give a shit. Let's do this. But then when you land and then you get to watch, because we probably had a group of 15, 20 people that went and did it. So they had to take us up in groups. And it looks like it takes forever when you're watching it. So, but that was on my list for sure. At some point, I want to own property on water. Lake, something small. It doesn't have to be anything. I don't need anything extravagant.
Yeah, like one of the,
just be just something where it'd just be nice. Because, grew up with a pool. Grew up on a boat on Shavehead Lake. My father and his previous business, when he owned a business with some partners, they had a couple homes on Shavehead Lake. So we did everything there all summer, big parties and stuff like that. And just, it always was fun as part of that childhood of growing up and just being around water. And like, it's calming. Like you're just away from everything. My sister and brother-in-law recently, in the last couple of years, bought a little place up on Little Fish Lake. And it's nothing extravagant at all. Just a little cottage, legit cottage. And it's just nice to go up there and just get away for a little while. Yeah. Go on the jet ski, go sit out on the, swim around, go on the little platform they have out on the lake or whatever. And then you see our boys. Like, that's how we are. We're living our life now, through their eyes and what they're doing. Yeah. So that's probably one of the things that Aaron and I both have talked about. Like, we'd like to be on the water someday. Yeah.
I mean, that's like super affordable. I remember when we were young, so I used to always say we had a lake house. It was literally just one of these places. It's a trailer. It's like a basic trailer.
Well, they call it a park trailer or a park house or something like that.
It's almost like a modular home. They could bring it out where you can have a trailer that you can add on to it. Mm-hmm. So there were some of these people that were really, really rich out there. They had like a trailer. It had to be a trailer. Yep. They built on a damn house attached to it, like huge. But we had it was a trailer, and they added on like an extension where it was like a living room and a kitchen. Yeah. And then like a bedroom. My parents had their bedroom. Me and brother had bunk beds. But it was cool because
that's all I need.
Yeah, we didn't get. First of all, when you have a lake house, you're never inside ever. No,
that's the whole point of being in a lake. You're up there hanging out.
Yeah. So it was pretty cool, man. Like we had, they had like a little like right behind us. There was a hill that went up, and it was like a pavilion up there. They had like dances at like end of the night, like for kids, like dances and like heroin for the younger ones. But no, it was a pretty cool place. It was like
come in a little pouch, you'd sniff it. And...
Yeah, we didn't know what it was, but it was good and affordable.
What lake?
This was Foxwood Hills in Middlebury. Okay. The lake, Cass Lake. Probably nothing. It's now a swamp, and it's sewage, and it's bad. I don't think anybody lives there anymore. I think they shut it down. Like people were like polluting it real bad. Because we were young when it was there. It was more. The water was cool, but it was more like we got to like ride like mopeds and like there was always, there was a bunch of the girls there. I was like, like 12, so I was starting to be like, hey, we'll spin the bottle, what are you doing? We'll hide the snake.
Play doctor.
He cut me open. Sorry.
You never played that when you were little? Yeah, I got caught doing that.
You cut someone?
No, like what is that? What's wrong with that? Let's see what's going on over here.
Take that out. Let's take a look at that.
Yeah.
But no, it's definitely it was definitely worth it. It was cool being like every weekend we had plans in the summer. Yeah. Like, yes, we're going to the lake house. Yeah. You guys got a lake house? Yeah.
I know. Dude. You're always like, holy cow.
It's like a mansion. It's awesome, man. But it was pretty fun. I think, honestly, it was like $5,000. I think my dad got it for.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just paid it off over time, but almost set himself on fire. I remember when I screamed, thought my dad was dead. He was in the kitchen in the trailer, like he's trying to get the gas stove to come on or whatever, and all of a sudden we're outside. He must have known something was wrong with it, because he's like, all right, everybody go. So we're outside. All of a sudden we see it in the trailer, whoom, just like an explosion.
Oh,
But dad just comes out. His like shorts are like just
singed.
Like, yeah, just singed. Because he was true cut off shorts guy.
I'm good.
He's like hair. I'm like, Dad's on fire. Oh man, it was just fun to be up there.
Yeah.
I do a little segment called Grind Your Gears.
Oh yeah.
So I will give you a minute to think about what grinds your gears, but I'm glad you brought up biking season, because I literally, every year, when I go out to bike, I do the river walk, start the river walk, and then you can make your way around, but the river walk has been there for decades, so people should at this time know how to get out of the way.
Yes.
And they don't. So I literally put a list together of the type of people that I see on the river walk. So I'm biking, okay?
That looks like a very long list.
It is.
Holy cow.
It's funny because there's only, so basically I broke it down to 7 type of people.
Okay.
So when you basically, you're coming up behind them. If I'm on a mountain bike, I don't have a bell. Normally the bell's fine, but everybody wears headphones, they're talking, they can't.
Yeah, exactly.
So anyway, so like there's the regular person. Okay, that's somebody that basically, that's just the regular person. They get out of the way. They know, hey, if you're coming up, hey, on your left, they know that means somebody's coming on my left. So they move to the
go right.
Boom, no problem. Then you have the next cluster of folks. So the one I call the scaredy cat. This is somebody who has no idea what's happening in life. You say on your left, what they heard is bomb. They don't know which, so they turn around and they get nervous. They look at you, and then they dodge in front of you like they're not picking a direction.
Knowing what to do.
Yeah. So needless to say, they end up looking at you while they're on top of your front tire. Like, why didn't you get out of the way? Like, they just freak out. They go into like a panic mode. And it's hilarious because you got to know, like, you can kind of tell, like, or they'll have like their wife with them and they'll toss the wife at you. Like, it's a crime scene, and I fucking love it. And then you got the headphone people. I get it because I do it. If you have your headphones on, there's a rule. Don't stay in the middle of the fucking sidewalk. Like, if you have your headphones on, you're running, jogging, whatever you're doing. Because
it's
by the time
rule that it's still considered, quote unquote, a 2-lane spot. Like, you're still going to have people that come and go, if you will, back and forth. Like, it's got to be that way.
Yeah, so you always be on the right.
Yeah.
If whatever you're doing, stay on the right.
Spot, yeah.
Yeah. So, and it's always, apparently all they can be listening to is just death metal, because I promise they don't hear anything until like you get right next to them, and they're like, on your left, and like, oh, and then they get freaked out and move. But if they get freaked out too much, they move the wrong way. You hit them again.
Yep.
So I call those the headphones McGee. It's the worst. And then you got pure confusion. This is the best. So I have seen this. So it tends to happen with some of the elderly. You'll hit the sound of either a bell or I'll say on your left, and they turn around and they don't even look near you, because like it's like they don't know what's coming. They don't have any idea like what's going on. And they do this thing where they put their arms on, they start turning around, and then now when you say you're coming up on them, you're just like, okay, well now you're just
now
right
you're
in the
making
way.
your space even bigger than I'm trying to avoid.
On your left, wow, what's going on? Like they don't have any idea what's going on, and then of course they're always attached to somebody else. It's usually like an older couple or like a group of older ladies or something on your left. What does that mean? What is your left? My left. And again, now you got
boom.
9 old ladies. You got the whole Golden Girls on top of your lap as you're riding a bike. So that's the pure confusion. Oh, the super leash. This one kills me. I took some time putting this thing together because literally I saw almost all of these people in one day, in one trip, just down the Riverwalk. So the super leash, they get a dog that they have no idea how to handle, control, or even speak to. So they get a 200-foot leash. So the dog is like in Bremen, and they're on the Riverwalk. And like because basically what you do if you're walking a dog on a leash is you pull the leash closer and you hold the dog while the bike goes by.
Yep. This
lady had probably. When I say 200-foot leash, like it would not surprise me if this thing was 200. Like she was like I was. It was at least I'll say at least 60, 70 feet in front of her. The dog was. So I was like on your left. So then she's like, oh, hang on, and she presses the button right to let the you tighten it up or whatever. Nope, she pressed the button to let the dog loose. So it goes zzz, just it just sounds like somebody bungee jumping. I'm like, all right. So there's no going around, because if you catch a dog leash, it goes right into your front tire. You flip right over, and then you're now entangled with an angry dog.
Yep.
Which has a shithole of an owner and a 900-foot twine rope. So that literally almost happened. I'm like, I just sat there and waited till she got her dog back, like she's fighting a marlin or something. I'm like, that's fine. Just
trying to figure out how to add that into, like, it's like you're out fishing.
Yeah.
You gotta let it go and let it play a little bit and do it. I'm like, no, you don't let it go. Like, move over.
She goes, oh, somebody's coming. You just hear it. She pressed the button. You just hear the dog go.
Exactly.
I'm just like, God damn it.
Yeah.
Dude. So I called this one. This is funny. Been robbed of coordination. So these are like the jelly body people. So it's similar to confusion. It's kind of a combination of confusion and scared. So they basically, they see you coming. They'll either see you or hear you, whatever else. And then they get uncoordinated. They almost fall off the sidewalk. I had a lady this old lady almost fall off the sidewalk. I'm like, on your left. She goes, oh God, oh, she's almost falling. I'm like, no, it's fine. Just don't run at me. You can stand right there.
Yeah.
You could, but like they just
all
turn
that
it.
Means is don't move. I'm coming around.
And then I felt back and like she's like stump. I'm like easy, and then all right, whatever. I mean, I don't know if she totally fell because I kept going. But and then the last one. This is the one that's the impenetrable wall. I call it the offensive line. So you get the cats. They tend to be people that I'm happy to see them out walking. You know what I mean? Like they're getting their health in. They tend to be larger than and they tend to move in. I guess they call them herds. So I come up. There's like 4 of them walking together. Okay, and I get up. Whatever you do, you're out there walking. Cool.
And they travel in groups.
Yeah, but before like they even together as they try to kind of move out of the way. Like it's some sidewalks. There's river, like a hill, and then the river, and then like like a gate on the other side. So they're like trying to get out of the way, but like there's still not a lot of room. Like you're still kind of like you're kind of like tummy tucking some of them with your handlebars. I'm just trying to sneak through. Like, sorry about that. Oh, excuse me.
Let me make myself smaller if I can.
And then they do that thing where they're just pinned up against the thing. I'm like, no, you're still you're still out here. So that is what grinds my gears.
Yeah nice. I like that.
Yeah, I was sitting there. I was like, man, because literally this all happened like in one day. I'm like, I got to get a bell for my freaking mountain bike. And then as I was out there, I was like, dude, even a bell would not matter. Because like I was like, this lady had her dog so far away. I was like, you can't even see that dog anymore. You got to bring it back or just somebody else on it. Oh, there. Yeah. Your dog left hours ago. All right. So I got one more thing for grinds my gears. This is my biggest one. Just happened the other day. What the fuck's happening at the pharmacy? What are they doing back there? I need to know.
Dude.
Anybody listening, please tell me, when I walk up, there's no one in line. No one in line. 4 pharmacy techs there. Nobody at the drive-thru.
And they're too busy.
Here's my script. My doctor already called it in. Oh, okay. We haven't started yet. We're going to start it right now. Give us 20 to 30 minutes. What happens? I don't understand. Like I'm watching because I'm literally so fucking curious because I'm like my time's very important. I hate waiting for things.
And they do well for themselves, right? As for a job and for a career. What's happening? Because trust me, this would be one of those that's going to grind my gears because we go through the pharmacy quite often.
Yeah, I'd imagine so.
Remember?
Yeah.
I have.
You and your wife have almost
my wife, right? She's ADHD, so she's got stuff she takes. Garrett, my oldest, he is ADHD as well, so he's got stuff he takes monthly. So it's a continuous thing that once you're set up, it's kind of known. Like that's what you just have to do, and you have to redo, and you have to re-up on them. Every once in a while, they change a little bit with Garrett.
Or they're out of stock.
As you grow, like some things change with the meds. You got to play with it. And all that
Yeah.
stuff. But you're going every month and getting it. Why is there always an issue? It never fucking fails.
They stare. I don't. Is it a counting issue? I see because I got real close at one time. I was like, what is going on? I looked over like there's a whole tray they do, and they have this little thing. They slide out the amount of pills. I'm like, okay. I assume you being here counting had to be on some type of test you took, so it can't be a counting issue. It can't be an insurance issue because I haven't had insurance for like the past, for the past 3 years. I've been off and on with insurance. Most time I just use like the little Good RX.
Yeah,
and it's cheaper than.
I'll be honest, it's cheaper than insurance sometimes.
It is. Yep.
Costco is better than our insurance for prescriptions.
Yeah.
And our prescription stuff's pretty good.
Yeah.
But they're like, well, hey, you got a membership. Here you go. It's a little bit better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's like it can't be an insurance thing.
Like, this is not the sort of like, they keep staring to in front. I'm like, what? I just need to know. I need to know what happens back there that takes that amount of time. I need to know. I need to know what's happening.
There's a need for something there.
There is something happening in there that I need to know what it is.
Yeah.
I don't know if they have to like lick each pill and then wait. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, you got to taste, make sure it's
everybody's
is it going to be okay for everyone else?
Just look back. They just got to just.
Yeah.
This is good. You're all set.
Well, or they're checking for the own side effects themselves. Like, okay,
Maybe.
to be
I would
able
agree
to
with that.
say, hey, this is what's going to happen.
It does take about as much time
because this is what I did for the last 30 minutes to make sure you're safe. I don't know. It is nuts.
I just need answers. So listen, if anybody works in a pharmacy, I just need to know.
Hey, there's a good spot for another one. If we know anyone to be able to help come in and ask that, you could ask all kinds of questions. See, now you got my blood flowing with the whole
I just
what
need to
grinds my gears with stuff like that.
So what do you,
way different than in that situation. I don't know what it is. The toilet paper roll. It grinds my gears, and I love her to death. But it's been happening.
She hang it under?
She'll grab the new one and leave it on the vanity. Like on the top. Like doesn't even put it on the holder. And I'm like, you used some of it.
It would be harder to use it taking it off the roll than when it was on the roll.
Exactly, if it would be on the roll. And then if it does go back on the roll, I'm sorry, it's a beard, not a mullet. It goes forward, not backwards.
Yeah. Everyone's like, no, you go under it. First off, it's physics.
Thank you.
If you're yanking, if you go to pull from the back, you can't pull and tear.
No.
You're plus there's not a lot of room. It's like you have no. It doesn't make any sense.
If you can see us right now motioning, how it really should be working.
You're going to be yanking it from under and just pulling off
and
90 sheets.
Exactly, which is what my boys do.
See, you grab the top, pull it off,
it gets pulled on wrong.
Then you fold it properly.
Yes.
Poop, taste, make sure it's good, and then save it. No, Fun fact, everybody looks at the row.
That's one of those. And you know what? If it's on wrong, I fucking switch it.
Yeah.
I have to. That's the OCD. I have OCD. I don't know. I don't think I have ADHD. Everyone probably has a little bit of it, whatever it is. I have OCD.
There's levels of all of it too. Yeah,
there's a level of that I have for sure.
Yeah, it's fun things. So Justin, he has OCD about organize. Like he used to every time.
Shout out Justin.
Every time at his apartment, I used to go. He'd have his magazines perfectly fanned, like perfectly fanned. Oh, I would just skew one off a little bit, and I would just see how long it took him to fix it right away. He could walk in the room, something's off. Kyle, what'd you do?
Oh yeah,
and they're like, dude, or move the picture frames a little bit, skew.
The littlest thing they know. I used to have my my previous general manager at work. He was like that. Where his desk, I mean, to me, I'd be like, well, no, this is like, it's your space. I get it.
Mm-hmm.
And we would fuck with him so much if he'd walk away and do stuff. And it literally would be the smallest thing where you're like, I'm going to move the mouse from where it's at to here. I'm going to move the pen from here to here. And then maybe just smidge that picture frame or something just a little bit different. And then just walk away and be like, yeah, let's see what happens. He'd walk out, come here and goes, who?
Guys,
who went and messed with my stuff? I'm like, are you kidding me? No normal person in their right mind would know that those little things were moved. So that's another level of that. I'm
fun.
not that level of it, but like the OCD with that, and then I'm pretty OCD about how I hang my clothes.
What do you mean?
It kind of grinds my gears. So my wife obviously does the laundry, love her, takes all the time, does everything, but if you're hanging it and it goes in wrong, like if it's hanging the wrong way in the closet.
So what do you mean? Explain to me what you mean.
So
you mean if she hangs the hanger like this?
So let's say you're hanging
but then she turns it the other way.
And she turns it. Well, no. The hanger always goes on the right way.
But if the shirt's back.
The shirt is facing one direction and not the other.
Much.
Throws me off.
I couldn't. There's no way. No, because you got to look. Yeah, that'd be weird.
That throws me off.
First off, I'd have to. I get back. Man, I definitely hung this shirt up when I was blacked out hammered.
Yeah.
Because you have to. You look at the hanger. The hanger, the hook is facing left. You hang your shirt, so you go in there and you hang it. So when I grab it, the shirt should be facing to the left.
Yep.
Always. That's how hangers are designed. If you go in, if it's backwards, I'm like, I didn't do this. Somebody wore this while I was sleeping.
Yep.
I could see that one. Yeah. That'd be weird.
That kind of, I don't know what it is. I'm weird with that.
That's weird.
I'm weird with folding clothes.
Let's see.
What about really
money?
weird now. People are learning some really weird stuff.
Do you have to have your bills, like, are they all, like, facing in the same direction?
They're all facing the same direction.
Yep. That's a big...
And they go chronologically.
Oh, yeah, for sure. That's one thing.
And if I'm in a rush because there's people behind me, like in a line, when I do use cash, because it's not... Typically, I don't have cash, because then I spend it. But when I do use it, and I'm like, oh, okay, well, I'll just get out of the way. I'll put it in, get in my... Before I even can leave or do anything, I have to put it in the right order.
But you see, I literally, this is on my grinds my gears. I'm glad you said one thing. You step aside.
Mm-hmm.
That's... I need you to get the fuck out of my way. Is my biggest. That's one of the grinds my gears. When people that do it in front of me, yeah, and then
you're gonna help me out. I did you gave me my change. I did whatever. My time, your time that I needed from you is over. I'm gonna now move out of the way, whether it's just next to it where I'm at, or I'm out of the next person's way. When I'm behind someone that's like, oh yeah, fumbling around doing stuff, I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
This guy at the liquor store was saying, this is a 1976 wheat nickel. I'm like, get out of the way. He's like going through all this change he got back. And that's a 1974. You a penny collector? Move. Please move. Please move. I don't want to be rude. What are you doing here?
I just want to buy my alcohol and go home and drink.
Then he's going in to leave a penny, take a penny. 1984. 1984 was the first year. Just move. I don't want to be rude, but just move.
Yeah.
Or when people like, do you want a bag? No. And then they're gathering up way too much stuff to carry out. And then they're trying to put their money back. They're trying to carry everything. I'm just like, what are you doing in life?
We're getting new beers.
Oh, yeah. It's a beer break. So.
Yeah.
I
remember, it's crazy. I got to tell the story then too of the whole remembering like friend anniversaries, remembering how I met Erin. I was that
when she was stripping?
Well, she had an off day.
Okay.
It was an off day. Yeah. So
we met at Panera.
Yeah. No, so I was
Erin never stripped, by the way.
Previous marriage.
Never stripped that we know.
It was headed towards not going so great. You could kind of see it going down that road. She had gotten a part-time job and was like, want to make more money or just not be home as much, whatever it was. And then I was starting to get the shit end of the stick of like, well, yeah, if I'm doing this, why aren't you getting more money? Why aren't you? I'm like, well, screw this. I don't even want to be home. Yeah. So I'm going to work all day and then I'm going to go get a second job too. Well, one of her my ex-wife's best friends was, I'm not going to name restaurants or whatever. People know enough of what's going on, that she was a GM of one of the fast food restaurants. Not fast food, bar restaurants, right?
We'll call it Chili's.
Yeah, we'll call it Chili's. That serves a lot of wings and beer. Went there, didn't even fill out paperwork, and she says, okay, cool, you can start, tomorrow. Well, finding out a little bit after that, Erin was the front of house manager. So she's supposed to be the one hiring people and doing things. She had no say in this. So I just do this. I'm start hanging out. So I'm working all day and then I come and do this, work from 5:30, 6 o'clock to 11, 12 o'clock at night and working in Elkhart actually, at the time. So I had to drive from the Osceola area.
Yeah.
My old home where I used to live was literally across the street from where Wissy and Kate live now.
Oh, okay.
So
yeah, right.
If everything works out, I could have been their neighbors. But so I started doing that and I started opening up. I started getting myself, I lost myself for the couple years I was in that marriage. And Erin was my boss. We're cool. No, we were cool. I mean, I was still married at the time, right? Just wasn't enjoying myself and everything. But she was just the personality, the humor. I mean, she was cute. She was short, tiny, just this little thing. I call her fun size because she's just tiny. She,
yeah, I got
5 foot nothing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, this is cool. It's just having fun. It's just being me again. And then everything happened. Everything went down with the other stuff and just hanging out. And that was the first time all that happened. And we became good friends, and it was cool. And then I stopped working there after my divorce and all that kind of stuff. And I started hanging out. I was hanging out with Heidi and another friend of ours. And we were out at Mitch's one night. And this was the night that everything changed my life. And then, it was summer, I was enjoying life. I was just trying to, play golf, get in the sun, have drinks, hang out with friends. I wasn't worried about a thing. And I went out, was drinking, at Mitch's with Heidi and a friend and maybe a couple other friends, whatever. And shit didn't go well. One of our buddies was hooking up with the bartender. There goes a ride there. Then Heidi and, whatever, they let whatever. And I'm sitting here at a table by myself going, I don't have a car. It's at Heidi's house, which isn't far, but I'm like, I don't really feel it. And she walks in.
Pre-Uber days too, right? Isn't
yes.
this?
Yeah. This is pre-Uber days, really.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden I see her over sitting at a table with a bunch of people from work that I still recognize and see. And I'm like, oh, man. Okay, I'm a little over-beveraged.
Yeah, you went and shot your shot.
Right? I'm feeling good. And I'm going, all right, let's go see what's going on over here. And I make a complete idiot out of myself. I go over there and I made this weird clap and I'm like, hey, or hello, how are you? I'm like, is there any way, like, how are you doing? And we start chatting. I'm like, yeah, can you like give me a ride home? Like, I don't have my car. This is what happened, blah, blah, blah. And like did all this stuff. And yeah, and she's like, well, no, I can do that. She goes, but I'm just going home, or like you can sleep on the couch. I'm like, okay, that's cool. We went back. We literally sat on the couch. We probably left Mitch, 2:30, 3 o'clock closing time kind of deal. We sat on the couch and talked till like 6 a.m. Just everything, like anything and everything, just was crazy. And she's like, all right, well, I'm gonna go lay down. I gotta lay down. I gotta work, today. I gotta work later. Blah blah. I'm like, all right, well, I kind of laid down there. 2-3 minutes later, she goes, "You coming?" I don't have game. Okay,
you just ripped your clothes off and stood up all at one time.
No, this is not how it's going. No,
you're just like, yes.
I don't have game at all. I was like, okay, and just came in, just laid down. She's like, no, just like lie in bed. Like we just laid down and went to bed. But that's who we whatever. And I was like, since that day, I had to make the walk of shame back to my car, not even to my home, back to my car. Ever since that day, man, everything's been different. Like it just a switch flipped or something. That now it wasn't always puppies and rainbows and unicorns. It wasn't always perfect
because of the toilet paper stuff.
Yeah, I mean I didn't catch on to that right away though.
That would have been it.
That would have been Dunzo. But
I had to break up.
It was different. She had a kid. I knew that wasn't there, like all that stuff. But it was like, I don't know if I'm ready. I'm just hanging out, and we had that understanding. Like, no, this is good. Let's just hang out. We're having good times and everything. And at that point, after a while, I was like, no, there is nothing else out there.
Yeah. Well, shit, man. So we're at 2 hours 20 minutes. That's not too bad.
Wow. All right. I didn't think I could do that.
Yeah. I mean, time flies. I'll always do. I'll be like,
whoever knows. So we got to see who actually listens to this and know if there actually was anyone that actually enjoyed this tonight.
Oh, they'll let me know. Well, I mean, I'm gonna have to edit it, and so I probably won't post it. Actually, I was gonna do.
No, I'm sure.
Gonna do based on, because first of all, we didn't talk about, so our outfits that y'all don't get to see. You'll see in the picture. See. So, Mr. Casini here, years back, had bought one of the coolest 4th of July outfits.
Anytime it makes an appearance, it gets some applause. It gets some looks. But I don't care, because you know what? I'm being me, man. And I got it years ago with Mike. We wore it to
it was Hunter's
4th of July party, whatever, right? We had to go all out back in the day. Like, let's have some fun. Let's do something. Yeah. And I pulled it out of my closet today. I mean, I've worn it a couple times for work near 4th of July time. My belly's a little bit bigger. It doesn't fit as well as it used to, but you asked for that when we were talking about prior to this, whatever. And I was actually trying to bring it out to be a surprise just because it's a holiday weekend, so I didn't get to actually to do that. But it was, our minds were thinking alike for that.
I was thinking, sure. I was like, because I like to always do like a picture,
Yeah.
And I was like, because I was looking online, I was like, I got these lovely fucking shorts, which are amazing. It's funny. So every time
Daisy Dukes
twice now, me and Craig have done some type where we have like a white trash party or something, over the course of the year. So the first year, I cut mine, and then he's like, "Oh man, that looks good. Hey, can you cut mine?" So then I always cut his like 3 inches shorter, way shorter. And he didn't remember that, so he asked me to do it again the second time. And dude, I went social. I'm talking like the pockets
were hanging out, right? Yeah.
He's like, "I'm never having you cut my shorts again." You made me look like an idiot. I go, no, first off, we very much look like
you've got a red, white, and blue like flag shirt, right? Dude, button down with a couple
like
buttons undone,
material,
right? With the jean cut off Daisy Dukes, some white Hey Dudes, right? Like we look pretty legit.
Yeah. So happy about that. But no, man. So yeah, so we're we're kind of coming up at the end here. What I'd like to do is is there any shout outs you'd like to talk about? Is there anything left on your mind you want to talk about?
Man, that's always tough. You've been listening to it, and then I hear that I'm coming on, and so I'm in my head. I'm like, yeah, I gotta get this prepared. I don't know. First and foremost, shout out to you for what you're doing here.
Thanks, man.
I think it's pretty cool. A lot of big, diverse following, I believe, of diverse guests that you're bringing in. I've listened to not every single one, kind of lost thing, but I'm going back and listening to a lot more, learning a lot of stuff from every single person. So I think it's really cool, which is what made me think, am I really going to be interesting enough? Not that people have to learn anything from me, but I'm like, is it going to be enough that people really want to listen the entire time? But no, it's been cool. Shout out to my wife, man, to Erin, for just being who she is, to my whole family, to Garrett, Luciano, Nico. They're my life. I mean, everything's cool. Corey's my guy. Kate Hill, who's been on here before, two episodes she did.
Yeah,
right?
she had the bag.
There's a crazy story too. Something that's my side piece right there. Crazy friendship story of where we met, which I never got into with the Friendsiversary. But no, I mean, just everything's cool. I mean, life's good. It's challenging. It's always fun. Every day is a little bit different. I'm always glad and always liking to hear what all my other friends are doing, their successes, even though their challenges that you always want to reach out and try to help. It's harder for us because life is different. Everyone has their own stories and things like that. I take that to heart, and a little bit of it, it's a little harder on us. And I appreciate a lot of times where people are willing to conform, if you will, in a sense of to include us is because of the situation that we have that goes on. I'm a big extrovert. Aaron is a big introvert. So that's the crazy thing is how we are, that we're complete opposites. So I step out every once in a while. You've been like that for me every once in a while. The married
guy clause. Yep.
The married guy clause. Where if he reaches out and says, "Hey, I want to have a drink," you don't say no.
Yeah, you got to do it.
So we do that, and it's nice every once in a while to be able to do that. I hate missing out with certain things with friends, but I also understand that we got to do what's best for ourselves, and I always wish everyone the best. And I wish you the best with everything you're doing here.
Thanks,
it's awesome. It was a great time catching up.
Oh yeah.
This has been a great time, man.
Oh yeah. Well, hey, hopefully it won't be the last. But
no,
I'm just glad.
I'd love to be a little guest star every once in a while, like
for sure.
Pop in and do something here.
Oh yeah. Because eventually I'm gonna run out of people to have on. Where they're gonna, some people just are like, nah, I don't want to do it, man. Someone gets scared, like, no way. The guests you've had, I can't top that. Like, it's not about top.
No,
it's more
not about
that.
Hey, I was thinking that when I walked in. Off mic, talking about it when I just walked in, hanging out. I'm like, I don't know. Like, was it really? I made notes of things that maybe he wants to talk about because of what might be interesting. It came up naturally, just with us, how things came. Yeah, how things work out. So no, it's good. I enjoyed it, man.
No, man, for sure. No, I mean, and honestly, man, I gotta say, if I'll tell you that, man, super proud of everything. Everything you do. Working your way up through your company. Handling life and being so positive through everything you've already been through, you and obviously the wifey. I know she's obviously a huge contributing factor to that. But
for sure.
But yeah, man, so I'll never think that you don't, that you ain't enough or you don't have a story, man. Because everything you go through is a lot of times people might just need to hear, wow, you know what, man, if somebody can do that, then I can do this. And that's really all it's about.
Yeah. Well, and I'll try to answer that a little bit more. Add a little bit more is shout out to all the people that help out, like Autism, Hope Bridge, and everything they do for our little guy Nico. Don't just assume that when you see a little one, or even middle aged, or teenager, because all kinds have it. But don't just assume someone's just not having a good day, or just they're not having a good day. But don't just assume it's because they're being cranky or they don't know how to have the child or what's going on. I used to be that guy growing up, thinking that. You never know, so just be kind. You never know what someone's going through.
No,
because it really helps when people are willing to do that. You get into that that group, that family that you have connections with people that are within that. So everyone's been more helpful. Just be kind. I mean, that's my biggest thing. I always tell my family and my kids is like, just treat others as you like to be treated. And it's when people have others situations that aren't normal, that are outside of the normal things you have in our sense of what we have with one of our boys, just, be a good person. And our people, we have good humans at Frucci, good human beings. That's who we are. Most of our people that we have, just continue doing that, and things are always going to be good.
Nice. So we got the, if you guys haven't heard, we have the neighbor mowing his lawn next door. So it's not motorcycles.
Just a little bit of
straight up.
in the back.
He mows like he's vacuuming carpet. I've never seen something. Like, you vacuum carpet back and forth. I think he thinks that he pushes it back and forth. I'm like, well, that's not a... Well, good shit, man. So, hey, in the episode of you've done shout-outs. Anything else you got?
No, just I appreciate everyone. Appreciate you having on me.
Having it on you? You appreciate me having it on you?
No, man, it's good. I appreciate you having me on, and this was a really good experience. I'm glad I was able to tell a little bit of a story or some stories of what's going on in my life.
Good deal.
Yeah.
Well, man, hey, again, man, I appreciate everything you do. I hope you know that.
No, man, love you, man.
We also appreciate everything you do, man. I know you ain't got the easiest life, but you and the wife, you're some stormtroopers. You guys are getting through it. So appreciate you having you on, and for everybody,
appreciate being here.
Thank you for listening to the KQ Show.
Happy 4th of July, guys.
At Indiana Beach.